Hi guys, Lindsay Wilson here from Positive Performance and the Mindset Coach Academy. And today I have Rachel Judge. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, thanks for joining us today. And we're going to be talking about your story of transformation through the Mindset Coach Academy. You are in the cohort now, just about to graduate and get certified as a certified mindset coach. So congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing now, and then we'll get into your story and your transformation through this program.
Perfect. I am the associate head coach for women's swimming at New Mexico State University. I'm beginning my 7th year here. And I kind of got into this because I do mental training with my team every week. And I was kind of frustrated with just the process of doing it alone and just trying to find the right things. And I didn't really feel, I felt like I had kind of tapped out with all the things that I was trying to do with my team. We had done your mental huddles with your team before. And we thought that this would be a great building block place for me to start.
Cool. So. And talked about it wasn't that long ago that you started and you made this decision to start. And the Rachel that I got on the phone with, 3.5 months ago and wanted to be a certified mindset coach, what's your mindset now? How have you transformed internally? I think originally you wanted this for your athletes, but talk about your transformation as a person, as a coach, as a mindset coach.
Yeah, I think that I work in a collegiate athletic environment, and I had started doing this because it was something I wanted to be able to provide to my team. I wanted to be able to do this with them. And the first month we spent doing all of the things that we're going to be working on ourselves. And that month I really felt like I found a centered and authenticity with this. Something that I could then bring to my team and be like, this is how this applied in my life. And I think that I felt so much growth. I felt like I wasn't asking them to do anything that I wasn't already willing to do myself, because it is hard work. It's simple things, but it's hard to apply these things to change your mindset and to change the way that you think every day. And so I think that for me, having authenticity in doing it, and that's the key there, is that the girls that I work with, they already are in the pool doing all this training, but if I can help them move forward and live by example, I think that that's really the key for me.
Yeah, if you could share some of the stuff that, remember the first month we really talked about facing your fears, doing things that were uncomfortable. And I know a lot of coaches kind of step back and they think, well, I'm not an athlete anymore because you were an elite swimmer. So you did this stuff, you faced these fears as an athlete, and then as a coach or as a young woman and as an adult, you often feel like, well, I don't need to do that anymore. And yet it seems like there was that sense for you that you did want to live it. You just maybe didn't know how. But talk about that first month, because you did some pretty cool stuff, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, for sure. So I, during that first month, and I think that what you just said is hugely impactful, because as a coach, I don't sign up for races anymore. I'm not an elite athlete. I don't live that lifestyle every day. And so for some of this stuff, I wish that I could go back and tell them, I got really into mental training during my collegiate career and it transformed to the way that I raced and competed. But that just wasn't a reality for me. I was injured, and I think that I was mentally tough, but I didn't have any sort of success story from college. And that connection of being able to apply these things in my life. And we talked about fears and getting out of your comfort zone and really growing. And the only thing that I could think of is I love to sing, and I've never sang in public. And I signed up for an open mic. Yeah. And I think that part of this group, awesome. Yeah, I know. And I've been singing literally every week since then.
Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
And it was something that I was right on the edge of doing, and I wanted to do it, but I just didn't ever set myself up, and I had to make the goal of doing it and push myself to do it and get out there. And then, and the team, my girls that were here training with me, knew that I was doing it, and they'd seen it on an Instagram story, and they were like, wow, I can't believe that you went from never, they were like, I didn't even know you sang, to they were like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that all the time. And that seemed like such a silly thing, but for me, it was really one tangible way that I could really challenge myself to grow and push my comfort zone. Yeah. And then I found that there were all these, it's almost like an addiction, right? Like you want to oh, well, I conquered that. Like, how else can I grow? And growth is growth, whether you're growing in your mindset for sports specifically, or you're growing in your mindset for your finances, or for, there's so many things that limit you. And I found that once I started doing one thing, that everything else just kind of, I wanted to really challenge myself.
Yeah. And so the theme was so good. But how did that internally, you know, obviously we talk about the first life you change is your own, and you talk about that authenticity and like living and walking the walk and, you know, practicing what you preach and all those sort of cliches. But like, how did that, if you can articulate, I mean, I feel like that was such a big part of your transformation, that like your heart was in the right place. You love your girls young women that you'd coach, like all that's already been there. Right. But like that true connection to the message, that true authenticity that, you know, they wouldn't have ever called you out on not living it, right? They don't even know. But like, how has that changed your message or your confidence, your delivery? Like, can you even articulate how that's shifted?
So I think it's very hard to articulate how this, going through this course and starting with myself, has changed the way my delivery of this.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that we had talked about was there's 3 ways to reach your athletes. You can try and tell them all day long. Mm-hmm. I love to be, I'm a positive, enthusiastic person. And I think that I had all the right tools and I wasn't helping them in the right way. So it was, you can encourage them, or you can try and relate to them, or you can get into their head and see how they're talking to themselves and really use their story to pull out, to extract their strengths. Mm-hmm. And I think that going through that and having that happen with me personally through this process with you, allowed me to kind of see how where I was not really getting the depth of this mental training that was there potentially to do.
Kind of being in the student chair for a little while.
Yeah. And it's sometimes easier to be in the teacher chair, right? To be doing things. And so being familiar with the uncomfortableness and the raw exposure of talking about these things that you struggle with, and the thought that maybe you're never going to be able to get over it, or nobody can help you with that. Mm-hmm. And being able to talk about lack of confidence. I mean, I am getting to a place where I still recognize when I'm hiding from doing this stuff, and that I'm not totally living in a place of confidence with it. Yeah. And I think that is a good awareness for the people that I work with as well, because that is a relatable topic. Totally. In sport or in life. And so confidence and being resilient and trying to, you have to do it all the time if you want to be growing.
Yeah. Speaking of, you just did your Facebook Live video for the first time. Everybody in the group. How did that feel?
Yeah. It was good. It felt really, I've been talking to people, but even the people that I talk to, I mean, I've been kind of guarded with like, I didn't want to tell everybody I knew that I was doing this, because it was like, well, what if I'm not good at it? Or what if they think that's crazy? Or what if they don't understand it? And just my friends and family and everybody's been really supportive. And I think that everybody, sport or elsewhere, if they have the desire to get better at what they're doing, it has to start in their mind, and it has to start with their habits. So that's been a really cool process. Yeah.
So that transformation, I've totally seen it in you, and it's been awesome to watch. And it's like in such a short amount of time too. That's what I just love about, like, we get into it, and you guys, people that are invested in making those changes, you guys dove straight in to all the fears and all the vulnerability. And it's been so fun to watch and be a part of. The other thing that I want to talk about is you were a little bit of, I guess there's a couple of people in the group that are, you know, you're a college coach. You originally signed up for this for your athletes to help your program build your own sort of credentials as a coach, a college coach. But you've since decided that you can kind of have a side hustle as well. Talk to me about that transformation, because that was new, right?
Yeah, for sure. So when I first signed up, this was something I was already doing. I had a 1 hour slot per week that I was working with my team. And I just wanted to be able to work with them better. just specifically.
And your head coach wanted that. You guys were invested in that.
Yeah, my head coach invested in this program for me.
Yeah.
And so I felt a lot of pride with that. I felt a lot of ownership with that I was doing this. But beyond that, the scope of me being able to do this with the club kids that swim in the community that I work with, and any other athlete, really, the high school athlete, the other programs at New Mexico State, being able to work with other sports programs. I think that the potential, once I started thinking about like, who could I do this with?
Right.
It was kind of incredible to look and be able to, I could list 100 different people that at this point that I could reach out to. And that just seems like such an incredible gift to be doing this for my team, but to be able to take it out into the world the way that I would like to.
Yeah. So that's a huge, I think you wanted to just do it with this small group, and now you're like looking, that's kind of the mindset shift too, of like, you just kind of look up and you're like, oh my God, it's everywhere. The need is everywhere. So talk a little bit about, your vision for your future with mindset coaching.
Yeah. That's one of those things that's kind of terrifying. I think that I would love to work with athletes specifically, but I think that there's a market for this pretty much everywhere. And the last month of this course has kind of been honing our ideal client, right? Who would we want to work with? And for me, I had always just pictured it being my team, and my vision for this was so small. Yeah. And I think that having a couple of sessions with people, being able to offer this as something that they can do, because you can't invest in it just once, right? You can't just try it out. You've got to really want to change. Mm-hmm. And so I think that putting that package together is a really exciting place for me. And I don't really know what that looks like yet, but I'm working on it.
But it's going to be the swim club that you are associated with, right? Or that you've worked with some of their athletes before. Yeah,
I have worked with a bunch of their athletes. And over the last 7 years, I've coached in every capacity on that team, the little kids, the older kids. And so I know the families really well. And I think that trust is so important in starting this out. And think, it's a vulnerable thing to be working with people's children and trying to help them become better athletes. They have to believe in who you are. And so I kind of already have a little bit of that ingrained.
Yeah. Cool.
Which is really cool.
Any final thoughts about, your transformation and what has shifted in you in the last few years?
Yeah, I was at a place where I was ready. I was ready for rapid change, and I was just scratching at the surface to try and do everything I could. And when I think back on the last couple of months of what I've done, I bought a house. I'm in grad school. I was finishing an internship. There was a lot of stuff going on. Whereas before, I think the skills that I developed and the habits that I was building, the timing couldn't have been more perfect, because the amount of stuff that life throws at you, it's really easy to just push things that you really want to do to the side. And the commitment to doing this group, the accountability of all the other coaches doing it alongside me, the interaction that we have with you, and really the encouragement to stay true to this thing that we found to be so important to invest in this process, is invaluable. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. And I really feel like from when I started to now, my skills and my self-awareness are just, I've changed so much. Yeah. And there's nothing that you can really put your finger on, but it's been a really cool journey. So
yeah. Cool. Well, I'm so proud to have been a part of it, and I can't wait. I know you're just going to take this message and your athletes, of course, they already know how lucky they are to work with you, but everybody in your community, and excited to watch that progress and be a part of it.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.